So I totally took away all the screens in our house for several weeks, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Mandy, the handmade homeschooler, and today we're going to be talking about screens and how I broke my children's addiction to screens. This is a huge topic, and I'm just going to explain what we did, and hopefully if you have kids who are leaning towards screen addiction, maybe you'll find something that helps you guys out. So if it is your first time here, I want to welcome you to my channel. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button. When you hit that subscribe button, you will get all my content about children and education and motherhood and homeschooling. So hopefully you will find something on my channel that is helpful for you. Also down below in the description box, I have a link to my free Facebook group for homeschooling families, and we are always in there talking about curriculum and all kinds of things. So if you would like to join, it is absolutely free to you to do so. So I totally took away all the screens in our house for several weeks, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. It was not just an experiment, but this was a life-changing thing that we did that years later we still have the same, family rules, and this has totally worked for us. I'm really glad we did this. This is probably one of the best things we ever did. So I want to kind of give a little background on this first and say that yes, I am totally going to admit, even though it is embarrassing for me, that my children were screen addicts, and I didn't know how badly they were addicted until we took them away. And sometimes you don't know until you take them away how badly your children are addicted to screens. I noticed around the time that my oldest was in about 3rd grade that he was completely screen addicted. So to give you a glimpse of what we had cable television, we had Apple TV, so basically like TV on demand when you can buy like seasons of TVs. It's kind of like a DVD replacement. My kids also had video games, they had consoles, they had handheld games, and they had iPads. So we had just screens galore. The only thing that we didn't have was their own personal cell phones because they were so little. And I noticed when I was talking to them that like they weren't even listening to me, they weren't even hearing me, they weren't comprehending anything that was going on around them. And it was just getting to the point where if they didn't have a screen in front of them, they were bored, like they weren't playing anymore. And as a mom of young boys, I was like, why are we not playing? Like, build something with Legos. What are you doing? And they were building in Minecraft instead. So I'm going to tell you how my husband and I broke this addiction and the steps that we took to break them. They are almost screen-free now at this point in their lives. And my husband and I, although I work online, obviously I'm a YouTuber, we place limits on ourselves even, and it has bettered our family and been so good for our family to have these limits on all of these screens, and I think it does a lot for our mental health as well. I know I'm gonna get a ton of hate down in the comments section. Just know that if you're gonna troll or if you're gonna say something nasty, I'm just gonna delete it, so just move along. I'm not even going to bother with it. I'm not going to argue with you about parenting my own children. So just let me parent my kids, okay? You parent yours. So one of the first things that we did was we decided to make a clean break, and we just took everything away. We're talking the television, TV shows, movies, Nintendos, consoles. We sat down with our oldest. Our youngest was really too young to comprehend this, but we sat down with our oldest and said, look, this is getting to be too much. And we're going to take a break. And we explained to him he wasn't in trouble and that we wanted him to be healthy and happier, and that this was something that we were doing together as a family. So we didn't just take them away from him, we took them away from us as well. My husband and I even went down to flip phones for a while, True story, we did. We had them for about a year, and quite honestly, it was kind of cool. So after we had this period of kind of like this clean break, and yes, he did handle it quite well. There was a lot of I'm bored at the beginning. Stay strong, moms, at the beginning. Stay strong. You can do it. Play with them. Seriously, just take this opportunity to do stuff together as a family and play with your kids. Once we took them away, we started giving certain things back, but with limits, okay? So how long you decide to take things away is totally up to you. I'm not really sure how long we actually took them away. I want to say it was like at least 3 or 4 weeks, like around a month. And once he was able to kind of break that habit, we were able to make new habits. So then we started setting limits on things, like when he would come home from school, he was still in public school at this time, he could only have so much time playing Minecraft, and that was it. He was done for the day. And we would even set a timer so he would know. He was allowed to have so much time watching a television show, so we could tell him, okay, you're allowed to watch this TV show, and then when it's over, the TV's off. And you know, we kept pretty strict rules with it. Now, if we saw him abusing that time, you know, we would take it away and say, okay, well, now you've lost that privilege. And this system worked really well for us. It worked really, really well. And because we replaced TV time with family time, and we were doing things together, like playing games or going outside, going for a walk. Me and my son started running together, because that was back when I was able to run, and I was a runner at that time. But we would go running together. We would practice his sport. He was playing soccer at that time. There was all kinds of things that we could do together that were much healthier than watching mind-numbing television shows or playing Minecraft. So many more things that we could do that was much better. Next, we decided against personal cell phones. And I know I'm going to take a lot of flack for this. I know when my son was in 3rd grade, he was one of the only kids without an iPhone. I'm not kidding. I know there were some parents who just looked at me like I was completely crazy. I thought they were all kind of crazy for giving their kids a phone that was unlocked and could access everything on the internet. I thought that was just bananas crazy. My husband and I joined in. So one of the things that I will mention is that my husband played video games at this time. And, you know, when we took away everything from the kids, he also gave his up. Since that day, my husband has never had any video games at all whatsoever. And, you know, I think it really says something to kids when, if you make a rule for them, if you are also abiding by that rule. I think it makes you look more genuine in your concern for them. And my children really took notice of this when they were, because, you know, my husband was like, I don't want them to come back and say, oh, well, you set this rule for me, but you're doing it. And keep in mind, we were a lot younger back then. You know, my kids were pretty young, but they still picked up on that. And to this day, you know, my kids still, you know, mention like, you know, we really admire that, you know, you did this with us. You know, you weren't just making rules for us. You were making rules for the family. And I think that really helped them to feel like this wasn't, or that I think it really helped them to feel like this was not some kind of unfair rule that we were putting upon them. It didn't feel like a punishment because this was something we were doing all together. Computers were in the common area. So this is still a rule that we abide by. And if my son has something to do on the computer, the computers are always in the common area. We do not have any electronics in the bedrooms. That serves a couple of purposes. One, it helps us to see what they're doing, what they're viewing, and how they're searching. And just in case they need help, you know, especially when they're still in elementary school, a lot of that stuff can be really confusing. So it just helps to have somebody there, you know, especially if I have to put in my password for certain things, like you have to log in for, you know, subscription type services. And it also helps keep them safe. So I know who they're talking to if they're talking to somebody in our family. And I think we all know by now the dangers of the internet. At this point, now that we are probably 10 years into this little experiment, we are not screen free. We are limited screens, and I feel like this is a really good balance. I know some families who are totally extreme and they are totally screen free. I'm not saying that I disagree with that. I'm just saying that that's not for us. And I know families who have absolutely no limits at all, and that's how they want to do things. And if that's how you want to do things, you know, cool. You know, that's your family, that's, you know, how you want to do things. That's just not how we do things. We do limited screens, which I feel is like a happy medium. We have our Apple TV still, but we buy selected shows that are pre-approved for them to watch. And, you know, we sometimes buy and rent movies via Apple and things like that, and we have found a lot of TV shows and movies that we really like. So we still do the same things that everybody else does, we just do them in a limited capacity. They still do not have any personal cell phones or laptops, but we do allow them to use our devices when they need to. And I try to watch how much I am on the computer and my own personal cell phone in front of them, because I feel like it's setting a good example. So we always want to set a good example for our kids. All right, guys, that is all I have for you today. I hope that you were able to take some good advice from this video. If you also do kind of like a limited screen thing, let me know. What do you do? What's the screen policy in your house? Do you have like a rule or a limit, or do you have no rules? How does it go in your house? I would love to know. Tell me down below in the comments. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and happy homeschooling.